in here.
Let's go.
Watch the doodle. What's the doodle?
Let's go. Hey.
What are you eating?
Let's go.
Oh no. He's eating grass. Oh wow, he already ate.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I got a power steering delete loop from JB Tune. I'm gonna be putting that on the Integra. So what we're trying to do is get rid of all this basically get rid of all this cluster. This pulley's starting to make a lot of noise, and let's see if we can focus. All right, I don't know if you can see because I can't get it to focus. You see down there where, right down here where my power steering lines connect to the rack at, they're leaking, and I just don't like the way the power steering feels. It just never feels good, and I just prefer to not even have it. Hold on, we got a cat fight. Well, that was dramatic. Two cats in my yard fighting. But anyway, looping the power steering line to depower the rack isn't the best way to do it, but it is the quickest and most cost effective. Really, the correct way to do it is to remove the rack and completely depower the rack, or swap to a manual steering rack. But there's a lot of debate on which rack is better. A depowered power steering rack has a better steering ratio and stuff like that. But anyway, the easiest way to do it is to loop the lines. And this kit from JB Tune is a cleaner way of doing that, so you don't have, you know, like just a rubber hose there. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get this cruise control module out of the way, because it's in the way and we don't need it and we don't use it. So, and then we're gonna drain the system. Once we drain the system, then we'll start cracking the lines loose and removing all of that. All right, I got the power steering module unhooked. It's just 3 bolts, this plug, and then you have to trace the throttle cable back and unhook it from your pedal, from your gas pedal. It's pretty simple, but I'm gonna wrap this with some tape, tuck it up. All right, so at this point, I've removed the pump and the belt and the upper bracket. I can't get the lower bracket out without removing the AC line, and I don't really want to do that right now, so I'm probably just gonna leave the lower bracket on. Now we have to come back here and remove the 2 hard lines, and then we can install our delete kit. I spilt a little bit. I'm gonna clean these belts off and make sure they don't slip, because I want to keep the AC, but I probably will end up deleting it one day. Also, just an update on a small update on the flat shark header. One of my studs came out, because like I said, this header doesn't fit very well. And I'm not sure if it's the header or I really don't think it's probably not the header. If I had to guess, it's these studs that I bought. These extended studs. They don't sit in the head very well. They're really soft, and I have a feeling that they're a Chinese knockoff of the brand that I thought I was buying. So be careful when you're on eBay. But the nut came off. As you see, you know, I have a rusty nut there. Yeah. I've had to use some of the old hardware because the hardware that comes with it strips the studs when you tighten them, and it just ends up not being good. You see all this soot right here on my head? Yeah, that stud came loose and there's a hole blown. I don't know if you can see it. That multi-layer gasket that came with the Flat Shark header, yes, yeah, you can see it. It's separated after like a week and a half. So the gasket's not very good. But that's the major source of my exhaust leak problem right there. The gasket messed itself up, and all that soot, all the exhaust is just blowing over right there. It's blowing out right there. So yeah, I'll be getting, or we were putting a new gasket on and reevaluating this setup this week while I'm off work, while this car doesn't have to be daily driven. But we'll have a video on that later. Anyway, I gotta start getting these hard lines out. All right, so we got those two fittings out. If you can see right down here, the smaller one is a 14 and the top one is a 17. So now we will take our JB Tune kit and it's real simple. It's easy. It's not easy to it's impossible to mess up these fittings. That's what I'm trying to say. It's impossible to install them in the wrong place because one is bigger than the other. So it's pretty simple. So I'm gonna put those on, tighten them up, and then we'll connect the line, and I'll show you the after result. Also, at this point, some people would would crank the wheel back and forth to get some of the fluid out of the cylinder. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave it in there because I don't want to have any problems. So I at least want to keep the cylinder and the diaphragm lubed. All right, so now both fittings are installed. The bigger one goes on top, the smaller one goes on bottom. So now we can connect our loop line. And while you're doing this, just be really cautious of your fuel return line if you're doing it with the engine in the car. Most people do it without the engine in the car, but I'm doing it with the engine in the car. So just be really cautious of that return line. Okay, so I've tightened all of these, and that's what it looks like fully installed with the line on. So now we have successfully deleted our power steering. When you put this loop on, the line kind of fights against each other because it's a single line. So when you're tightening that fitting, squeeze the line together and take some of the tension off of it, and you should be able to get it tight. I didn't put any Loctite or thread sealing on it. Everyone that I've seen use these, every video I've watched on it, no one uses it. So we'll see if it leaks or not. If it leaks, I'll pop those fittings out and put some thread sealant on it. But I'm gonna put a head stud, exhaust stud back in here, and then take her for a test rip and see how the steering feels. I'll get back with you in just a second. Alright, so took the car for a drive. Steering feels great. It feels great. Some of the noise from the pulley, all that's gone. No leaks. Everything works the way it should. So, I'm gonna call that a success. I love it when parts are simple and easy to install. They go together the way that they're actually supposed to. And that's exactly what that kit from JB Tune did. So, if you're gonna delete your power steering on a budget and want to do it that way, that's the kit I would recommend. Like the one that comes with a little reservoir from Chase Bays, it's almost $200. Just that small little loop line was like $30, and yeah, the fittings are good quality, the line's good quality, and it's great. So yes, you could make your own, but why would you do that when for the same amount of money it would cost you in materials to do? Someone else has already done the research and development and, you know, made it themselves. That's simple and easy. So anyway, that's the end of this video.